Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to dive deep into removing items from a Python set. By the end of this, you'll know exactly which method to pick for pretty much any situation you can think of.
So what's on the menu? First, we'll touch on why you'd even need to do this. Then we'll get into the real meat of it, the remove, discard, and pop methods. We'll also cover the big guns, clearing versus deleting a whole set. And of course, we'll wrap it all up with a super handy guide.
All right, first things first. Before we get into the how, let's just quickly talk about the what and the why. Okay, so a quick refresher. A set is all about unique items. No duplicates allowed, and there's no specific order. Now, why does removing things from them matter so much? Well, imagine you're managing a set of active user IDs or tags on a blog post. Things are always changing. You need to add and remove items all the time. Choosing the right way to do that isn't just about deleting stuff. It's about writing clean, efficient code that doesn't crash unexpectedly. Let's start with our first tool. This is for when you know, without a doubt, exactly what you want to get rid of. This is where remove shines. Think of the remove method like a surgeon's scalpel. It's incredibly precise. You tell it the exact item you want gone, and poof, it's removed. But, and this is important, that precision comes with a pretty big catch. Let's just see it in action. It's super straightforward. You've got your set, apple, banana, cherry. You call this set.remove banana. The method goes in, finds banana, takes it out, and you're left with apple and cherry. Simple, right? Clean and effective. But here is that catch I mentioned. Remove is strict. It's demanding. If you try to remove an item that isn't actually in the set, like, say, you try to remove grape, your program will stop, dead in its tracks. It throws a key error, and that can crash your whole script if you're not careful. So that raises a question, right? What if you want to remove something, but you're not totally sure if it's even there to begin with? Well, luckily, there's a much safer option for that. Meet discard. You can think of it as the polite, more forgiving cousin of remove. It'll go look for the item and remove it if it's there. But if it's not, no problem. It just moves on, no drama, no error. It makes your code way more robust. And this right here shows that critical difference perfectly. On the left, we try to remove grape. Since grape isn't in our set, the code breaks. Key error. On the right, we discard grape. It's not there, so nothing happens. The program just continues on its merry way. This makes discard the go-to choice when you can't guarantee an item exists. Okay, let's switch gears to a totally different situation. What if you need to remove an item, but you honestly don't care which one it is? This is where pop comes in, and it has a really cool trick up its sleeve. It doesn't just remove an item, it removes it and then gives it back to you. This is super useful if you need to, do something with that item right after you pull it out. Now, the crucial thing to remember here is that sets are unordered. So when you use pop, you have absolutely no control over what you're going to get. It's a bit of a lucky dip. You can't use it to target a specific item, but it's fantastic for when you just need to pull items out one by one to process them. All right, now for the most extreme options. What if you just want to get rid of everything? This is a really important distinction to make. Using clear is like emptying a box. You take everything out, but you still have the box. The variable for your set still exists, it's just empty, ready to be used again. The del keyword, on the other hand, that's like taking the box and everything in it and throwing it into an incinerator. The entire set is gone, poof, wiped from memory. If you try to use it again, you'll get an error because it just doesn't exist anymore. Phew, we've covered a lot of ground. So let's pull all of this together into one final summary to make it super easy to decide which method you should use. Here it is, your ultimate cheat sheet. So, to recap, use remove only when an item absolutely must be there and its absence is a problem. Use discard for the safe everyday removal where you don't want any errors. Pick pop when you need to grab a random item to work with. And finally, use clear when you just want to wipe the slate clean and start over with this same set. So, what's the big takeaway from all this? It really all comes down to your intent. Before you write a line of code, ask yourself, what am I trying to do here? Do I need my program to fail if this item is missing, or do I need it to continue on safely? Just answering that simple question will almost always point you to the perfect method for the job. Making these small, smart choices is what separates good code from great code. Happy coding.